So, stop sharing that. What am I doing? I'm sharing the factory. I'm like,
I got
what
the right
hell
one?
is
I
that
don't know.
going? Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, that's all cool. We'll just double check to make sure that we're live into
There
the
we
meeting.
go. We're live.
We are, yeah, good,
Yep.
lovely.
I just got a little pop up there. We're good.
Yeah, so welcome. This is the baby boomer.
Power hour.
Yeah, power hour. We're about to have a look and see what's available. Now, this is for people to be aware. This is now 1 hour later than we have been in the past, and the decision was made to do that because, for the number of power hours that we were doing before, we were sort of finding there weren't a lot of trade opportunities at that time, and then we felt that when we got off the power hour at that time, there were more opportunities that showed up for that hour after. So
Precisely.
we've moved to this.
Yeah, we're hoping that by moving it back by an hour, that the market's going to be a little bit more active. So we'll see. We'll see how tonight goes.
We will see. That's right. And look, for people that are watching this after the event, this is a demonstration or an education of trading in foreign exchange. So it's where there's a trade between one currency and another currency pair. So we'll have a look, just follow along. Got any questions, get back to Anne and myself or whoever has let you have a look at this this video.
Exactly.
So where are we? We were just having a look before we got on. So let me just share. And this is one of the strategies we're using. IML, the web analyzer, or
now actually has a new name. It's actually called the Vibrata.
Vibrata, yes.
Vibrata.
Okay. Vibrata, and it's IM. So
it is IM.
IM
Mastery Academy.
Yeah. Well, this one here is a British pound. Oh, we've got another one that's popped up. So we'll have a look at that one. Anyway, this is British pound Australian dollar on the 15-minute chart, and it was called an hour and 3 minutes ago for a buy, which is about there, and it's done that.
And it did have a little bit of one.
But if we go to this one, which was the Euro AUD called an hour ago as well, that was the call for a buy just there. So not too bad. The issue though is this trade, even though it made around 20 pips, it does not qualify for under the rules of the strategy that we're looking at here. Correct, Anne? So
correct. So we are actually looking at the be your own bank strategy, which actually has 3 basic rules that apply to it. The first one being that the first thing you check is the stochastic, which is that first line sort of in the middle of what you're seeing right there with the purple background. And what we're looking for, if we're looking for a buy situation, then we want the 2 lines to be at the very bottom, at around the 20 mark or below the 20 mark. And then they want to start curving up again with the blue on top. The reverse is true if we're looking for a sell situation where it's going to start at the top. So we want it to be at the 80 point or higher than that. And again, the lines are going to cross over each other. And now the blue is going to be on the bottom, the red on top, and they're going to point downwards. So that's the first indicator. If it doesn't meet those criteria right from the get-go, then it's a trade we would not take.
Yeah, there's priority rules, isn't it? So that's sort of the priority rule. Yep. Next.
And then the second thing that we're looking for, assuming that that principle is met, then we're going to then look for an appropriately colored candle, whether it be a red or a green, red for a sell, green for a buy. So in this case, let's say if we go back just a little bit to where the lines are towards the bottom and we were looking for a buy at that point, then we would look for a green candle, the first green candle that would come along.
Oh, back the fair way.
No, you did. Well, okay, so let's look at a sell there, Brian. No,
Yeah.
that's still a buy. A buy. Okay, right there. Yeah. So if we're looking at that point where the lines are low and close to the 20 mark, or at the higher 80 mark, which one are we going to look at, Brian?
Which one would you like? You
Because
want
we're not looking at much in the way of sells here.
Okay, let me look at. Oh, well, you're going to look at, yeah, there's a cell there, but that's.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm just trying to find something that you see.
Yeah.
This is a cell there, but we haven't
It's very
really.
slight, yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of volume in that. There's a bit here. This is a cell from here.
Okay, we'll look at that one then. So we can see where the lines have come up to that 80 mark, and in fact, just slightly above it. The two of them cross over each other. The red one goes on top, the blue one goes underneath, and they begin to separate. So that is your first indication that there is going to be a sell possibility. The second thing that you're going to look for then is if you look up at the actual candles, the Hikinashi or Heikinashi candles, then you're going to look for the first red candle that comes along that has a flat top with no wick at all, none whatsoever. So we can see that that first larger one that's sitting right there that Brian's pointing out right now is that very first one. So at that point, we would think, okay, maybe we're going to actually be able to get into this trade. But the third rule is that you see these little dots that are along either the bottom or the top of the candles. Those are called parabolic SARs. And what the third indicator is the appearance of the parabolic SAR. When it's a sell, it's going to be, well, actually, it could be either on top or below. In this case, it should be on top for a sell and below for a buy. So again, in this case, although we have two qualifying rules, the third one does not qualify. So we would not, in fact, actually take that trade.
Yeah, yeah.
But even if we look
in this
right here at the end here, where it is down lower, it's almost down to that lower point. The blue line is, anyways, it's fairly close. So you might, technically it's not exactly there, but it's close enough. And if we go by the creator, the person who created this strategy, whose name is Tasha, she would tell you that if it's reasonably close within maybe 5 or 10 of the 20 mark or the 80 mark, then she would probably consider it. So in this case, we are seeing the change of the two lines, again, flipping over one another with the blue on top and the red below, separating and pointing up. That is an indication, again, of a buy potential. Then we are going to look at the candles, and we're going to look across and find the first one that has the flat bottom, in this case, which is very close to that point, but there's no corroborating parabolic SAR below it. So then we keep moving along until we find the first candle that qualifies with that parabolic SAR. And as soon as we see that, then we know, okay, we should be able to get into this trade.
Yeah, well, this has got the SAR below it here.
There's two candles to the left of the red one, of the red doji. That, yeah, right there.
You can see that flip. It wasn't actually called there. It was called the buy somewhere here.
Yeah. But even just looking at those qualifiers there, then you would say, well, that could very well be also.
Yeah, yeah. And for me, looking at the vortex, I would say, with this is up high, this is starting to lift now, which means, see, we're getting wicks on the top of the candle and it's pulling back down.
Yeah, so, and with this strategy, we know, and with these candles, we know as soon as the wicks start to appear, and the longer that they are, the more likely there's going to be a change in direction.
Yeah, so there's highly likely here for this to go into a sell. Yeah. If we were to look down at the 5 minute, we can see that it's actually already started to, whether it's a little retracement or not.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Down back 30.
We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, the 30's up high too. The 15's definitely up there ready. And the 5 is it's already started on its way down.
Yeah. We'll see what happens because the vortex looks like maybe it's just a short little. So.
Yeah, we'll see. Then if we go back to the Euro AUD, that also, look at this crossing over now. See, red's going over the blue on the stochastic.
Excuse me.
And we've got British pound going weaker in relation to the Aussie dollar.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that, of course, we want to remember to do before we actually even start looking at doing any trading is to check the news on a Forex calendar of some description, which we already did do, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I'm just going to share my screen. 1 second here, and we'll have a look at that. This is the time zone that we're in, basically, for North America. So right now, there is nothing left in the way of any news incidences for today. And basically, today was a non-issue anyways. There really wasn't anything super exciting or anything to be particularly concerned about. So at this point, we want to look at tomorrow because starting at 4:30 in the morning, there is a red folder news event for the Great British Pound. And these are the ones, the red ones that we want to keep an eye on. Those usually have an effect on the markets at that time. We're actually just probably up to an hour before. Things could start to change a little bit. So it's usually cautionary notice to say, be very, very aware that there's something going to be happening and keep a very close eye on any trades that you do have running at that time that involve that currency. And if just for the point of note, we look for later in the day, there's a lot going on here between USD, the Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar, and so on. So it's going to be a fairly high impact day tomorrow.
Yeah, and also too, that's above and beyond Brexit, above and beyond Saudi having drones bombing the
oil situation and all of that. Yeah.
So
these are sort of standard events that take place at set times every month, basically. So these are commonplace things that happen and the reports that come out and all of that kind of thing. So it's anticipatory for that reason because it repeats itself all the time. So I'm just going to stop share, Brian, and you can have that back.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do remember on occasion I was online when one of the missiles from North Korea went over Japan into the sea on the other side. And we were sitting there, we're doing some trading together, a couple of us, and my gosh, it's like all these folks were going, what just happened? We didn't know what had happened. And then somebody checked the news, and it's like, no, rockets got it. It's like, it's like, that's what can happen without you. That doesn't normally show up on Forex Factory.
No, those things don't. You would have to have a television on and have the news on constantly, and a lot of traders do actually. So they realize what's happening or what's going to happen or may happen or just happen to explain why the markets are behaving the way that they do.
Yeah. So do you have a question there at all, Robert?
Well, I was wondering if Forex Factory was a free website.
Oh.
The calendar in Forex Factory, yes, you can just access that freely.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Here, I'll get you the link for it and I'll put it in the chat. Hang on.
I just wrote it down here.
Yeah, Forex Factory, or you can also go to My FX Book. They also have a market, like a calendar of events as well. The two of those, and in actual fact, they actually have different things. So it's probably good to actually check both of them.
Never
What
heard.
was the second one?
My FX Book.
My FX Book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Got it.
Both of them. Just go there and just sign up or whatever. It doesn't cost anything, and you can just look at calendar. So it'll just tell you what's happening. Yeah. All right then. Let me get another. Let's get another chart up. Hang on.
There you go.
Okay. So this was 15. Gee, we've been chatting. We've been chatting for 15 minutes. Only hell.
That's okay. 1 hour is okay to check too. We can still go down to the 15. Whoa.
Yeah. So this is actually saying that this is for a continued buy 15
Mhm.
minutes ago. Now, as long as and then again, I have to put this in. The web analyzer or Vibrata is actual fact a computer
It's an
thing.
algorithm.
Yeah, that works all this out. So it's not a person that's looking at it. So if we were to say, okay, here on this way up, so from this point here, it left here and started to go up.
Yep.
You've got this buy. See how it flattened out there a little bit and then went up again? That's why you had that little downtrend there or retracement, and then off it went again. Now, you would say with this with stochastic, sorry, you would say, oh my gosh, it would have to go higher and higher and higher. No, when it's up to this level and it
goes flat,
snakes along, it just drags along here on the top or the bottom, you're still going to have an increase. Now, it may then reduce the angle of that increase, which is like that. And what I can say, these are nice flat bottoms and they push up, and yes, there's a little bit pushed down the top, but there's still a nice increase there. And if we were to measure that, if you were to measure, say, from here up to there, I mean, that's 74 pips. Thank you very much. Not a bad thing. The issue now is we have sideways movement and we have candles with wicks on both sides.
And we have the SARS in the wrong place.
Correct, as a cell type. And also too, I mean, it's not, yeah, right, yeah, absolutely, the SARS in the other place. I was just starting out with this and getting to see the candles even. This is telling me there's going to be some reversal. And this is telling me there's going to be.
And I was watching that. The other thing, again, to make note of is that you want to see a good space, a good gap between the candle itself and that parabolic SAR. And as the parabolic SAR gets closer and closer and closer to the candles, again, that is a signal, as well as those wicks, that's a signal that there's going to be a direction change. Yeah. So right about there where that candle and the SAR were actually touching each other, that's where I would have probably gotten out.
Yeah. I think we were actually having a chat. I don't know if it was your last night or day or whatever. Anyway, the last time I was on, which was the Q&A that we had in the Ninja group here, and which is a support thing. We were talking about the live trading and talking about the fact that the purpose is not necessarily to call trades for people. I mean, if a trade opportunity is there in front of us, we'll talk about that. The main purpose is for us to actually educate and and sort of saying, well, this is what we're looking for. This is where it is. Yep. There's a prime example here of, even there, it went in, that was like, will they go to a sell? Once we see this here starting to turn, and you see these candles, this is a sell opportunity. Now, I will add something, which is we've been using. So I'll just put the vortex indicator on. It goes on the bottom there. And you can see they're not necessarily separating too much here yet. So this is not the right time as yet to get in. But we're actually on the hourly. So if we go down, say to the 30-minute, still flat as a pancake. Even though stochastic is going down, this is pancake country here.
Yeah. Let's
go to the 15. Oh my gosh, even more pancake.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're getting a crossover here on the vortex.
Yeah. And the SARs have flipped. They're on top.
Correct.
So now it's just a matter of waiting for a right candle and for the right height of the stochastic.
Yeah. You can see that what you do is, if you're on an hourly and you want to sort of go, well, what's going to happen? You look down the time frames because it happens earlier down the time frames than a higher time frame. Does that make sense, Robert?
But it still moves the one you're on, though. If you're on the 15, the 5 moves, it'll still move your 15 one.
Yes.
I noticed
Yeah.
that.
Well, they all move. It's just there's at the higher time frame, it's sort of less measurement of movement, but it's still in there. So
So for example, on a 15-minute chart, for each one of those candles in a 15-minute chart, there are 3 5-minute candles.
Yeah.
So that makes up a 15. And then if you look at the hourly chart, there are of course 4 15-minute candles.
and a whole lot
That are
of
combined
fives.
when you look at that. So that is how it progresses from the smaller time frames up towards. So the smaller ones will give you an indication of what is likely to be.
Yeah. So we've got up the 4 buys: Euro CAD, GBP AUD, and Euro AUD. So let's just, again, you see, we're starting to see where the red's going over the top of the blue, and these are now coming close together.
Mm-hmm.
This is, no SAR flip yet, so you need to keep monitoring. GBP AUD. Again, this is red's come over the top, blue below, and these are starting to cause a C, back towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be an opportunity. It's whether there is enough in that movement down, whether there's enough angle that it will occur on this currency pair. Even though these have been called as buys, the point in time they were called buys is back here, right? Yeah. And so we're now looking at this opportunity for possible sells. I mean, you can see it's already done that.
Yeah.
Now, whether this points back up or snakes along, I mean, basically the third confirmation is when the SAR flips. So this has got to come down a bit, like maybe 2 or 3 candles. It depends on how forceful they are for it to flip, and then you need to get in.
Yeah.
If it's appropriate, anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the neat things about this particular strategy, because it is easy just to follow the flow up and down. When your stochastic is in the right place and you're ready to go for, all your indicators say go for the buy, you go for the buy, you get out, you wait for it to turn around, and then you go back down again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really don't need to look at a whole lot of pairs. You can look at just one pair and do that. You can look at 2 of them, that kind of thing. You don't have to have the whole spectrum of them.
Yeah. It's almost like a roller coaster, isn't it? I mean, you're going down, then up it grows, and then down it goes again. So
absolutely. Yeah.
You're just following that. It's whether you get white knuckles or not. That's the whether you're hanging on with grim death.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's not quite ready from the rule perspective yet. I'm looking at this and going, this depends. If these were wider apart, I'd be going, yeah, it's there's more longevity or more impetus in it, or more,
it's a little iffy still.
This is still going up at the moment, but that's also crossing over. See, it's not that defined though. If we go down to the 5-minute, it looks like it's retraced and come back up a little bit. But I think it may, see where there's a new candle, right, just happened, and you can see the euro is gone stronger, and the Aussie dollar is weaker in relation to it. So you're going to have that buy situation, and you can see these coming closer together on the stochastic, and maybe it might even lift. It just depends.
Yeah.
Because what you've got here, if you were to put in a trend line through there. You're looking for it to, even that sort of break it, but it didn't really continue. It went up over it again.
Yep.
This didn't really break it. It's doing that.
Still just kind of bouncing off.
That's on the 5, so I think it was called on the 15. Yeah.
Yep.
So if we were, if it breaks that trend line.
We'll have to wait and see.
This Euro CAD. Oh my gosh. It says for a buy, but there's not going to be enough pips in it. This is also going to drop out. But the Euro is still stronger than what the CAD is. Yet you'll see that Euro's up, but CAD's also pointing up.
Mm-hmm.
So comparatively, they're sort of still, if they're in a straight line, they're still
they're kind of equivalent right now. Yeah.
Still same distance apart, and that's why we're getting.
I bet if we check currency strength, you'd probably find that they were about the same there too.
Let me have a look and see where strength. We're on the 15, so what have we? GBP, yeah, and AUD.
Yeah.
12 and 10. They're pretty close together at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 at the moment that I think I have a sense that they're, these are going to go into sells. We just got to be here at the right time to take them.
Yeah.
That's Euro CAD, Euro AUD, and GBP AUD. Yeah.
Yeah, GBP is not sure what it's doing.
It hasn't been sure what it's been doing for a few months.
Yeah.
But then again, again, the British pound against a lot of the currencies, like I think there's 6, that it's the main currency. I think majority of them, or not all, but a fair few of them have gone down to 52-week lows. With the pound as such, the value of it, and that must be really hurting a few people.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. Well, does anybody have any other pairs that we want to look at?
Ideas. Carlos is there.
UJ.
I'm just, yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's got movement.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's not really a very big thing. Yeah, AUD USD.
Are you looking at Heikin-Ashi candles on there?
I don't think we can.
You can.
Can you?
You can. You can put a stochastic. You can put vortex. You can put SARS. You can. Yep.
Oh.
You absolutely can.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, up there. And lo and behold. And that says something completely different.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, I find it's a real transition from standard candles to Heikin-Ashi. It's if you, because I'm really used to just standard candles, and using the Heikin-Ashi for the BYOB, it's taken me a while to sort of get used to it. What do we got?
It's definitely an adjustment because besides the fact that they look different, but also the data that they contain is different. So it becomes a bit of a different mindset when you're trying to analyze things.
Oh.
What happened there?
That didn't do it. Okay, it was just the circle. So what I've got to do is, I've got to duplicate. and then I'll open it up. Because it only opened the pitch, that little image up. This is a 15-minute. TVP CAD, where are we? Right, down the bottom coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. But
Yeah.
we're gonna wait for
Something.
gotta wait for that.
But you know what? It's calling for a sell,
Yeah.
which it will eventually do. But
Yeah. But there might be something else in between.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see that's why it's doing a buy.
And just out of curiosity, Brian, why don't we just look at UJ on here?
Sure. Let me make
Just for kicks.
Just for no.
Just for kicks.
Just for giggles.
I was thinking of that, but I didn't really want to say the whole thing. So
Yeah, I know. I just my head don't know where. No, we won't do that. USD JPY. Let's have a look. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it's looking exactly the same. Except now it is starting to come around for the sell. Interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty flat across there on a 15 though. I mean, that range, if you look, I'll just put in some horizontals across there. Basically across there. You can see it's come into here and bounced off there, gone down, bounced and gone up here.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, what was it called for a buy where? Is that harmonic scanner, was it?
The scanner said it was going to be a sell, actually.
Yeah, and that's what I'd say it would be too.
Yeah.
See how the red's going above blue there?
Yeah. And it's at what? It's at 75 almost? The stochastic?
So yeah, 74.96. Close enough.
Yep, close enough. I would agree with that. So that element is in place. Now we're waiting for the appropriate candle and we're waiting for the star flip.
See, in some situations, unless the angle of the trade, I mean this angle here, is steep enough, you've got to have a number of candles down here before it'll flip this parabolic star. That's okay though. It means ultimately you're going to get into great trades, not just any trade.
Yep, correct.
I just
So you've been practicing since Thursday, Robert?
Yeah. I think I had one winning trade so far.
That's good.
And that's why we practice, and that's good.
Yeah. Today I was working on the bid, the ask, and the spread. I was working on that stuff today.
Right. Okay. And
that spread's confusing because it goes up so far and it comes down a little bit and it goes into negative. I'm like, quit it. Keep going up. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Robert, the spread though is it's the difference between the ask and the bid price that the broker sets.
Yeah.
So what happens with the spread is when you initiate a trade, and it's always really, well, for us it will always be negative by whatever number of pips or part of pips, which are points or ticks. But anyway, there's 10 points or ticks in a pip. So the broker, between what they set, and depends on where they get their feed from, what the ask and bid price is, and that becomes the spread of how many pips or parts of pips.
So it could be 0.3, could be 0.5, could be 1.2, could be, it all depends on the pair usually as well, because it changes with each one.
Yeah.
And it can also change given the time of day.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Oh yeah, it'll change because of time of day.
I'm getting there. Take a while.
Oh,
There's a
no,
lot. There's a lot. So yeah, you're not going to absorb it all overnight.
A lot to learn for an old guy.
You're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. Well, an older, wiser person, you mean?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. So this, hang on, your AUD was called, yeah, it was on 15. It was a Euro CAD that was
1 hour.
Euro CAD that was on the hour. Yeah, we're still good on the hours. That's all right. I mean, this is going quite flat. I mean, even this angle is looking down. We're just going to see. These are still separated like this. Let's go to the 15-minute on it. Yeah, nothing much yet. Still just snaking around. There's not enough pips in there for the spread. So Robert, it's like, for example, if you're looking for 3 pips in a trade or 5 pips, and when you put the trade on, it's -3 pips.
yeah.
You've actually, if you wanted 3, you've actually got to make 6 pips before you can come out with 3 pip profit.
Then your profit starts going down. It's like, do I get out or hold or stick it out, or what do I do?
Yeah. Do I stay in the bus or do I jump out the window?
Yeah, I've been jumping out, a lot of them.
Yeah, well, and that's okay. It's whatever you need at this sort of stage. I suppose what I'm saying is part of your assessment is like, are there enough pips in here, either up or down, to give me spread plus a bit of profit?
That doesn't look like anything there.
Correct. It looks like
Correct.
very good. That was the point. There's no
That's correct.
real.
This would be one you go, no, thank you very much.
We're going to throw that one back in for a while.
We are.
That's on the 15 though, you see, but it was called.
Yeah, but even the hour is not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just as bad. And look, the vortex doesn't know what the heck it's doing.
The only thing though, the only insight and solace that I have with this though is when this stochastic starts moving down into that sort of bluey purple, this will actually come down with quite a bit of momentum. Normally it would. Can you see how it's sort of like that big drop there? Yep. I think that's what we'll sort of see will occur over here. If we come back, see this consolidation, then it did this bit, and then bang, down it went.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
So I'd be, like, this is a good one to look at for the next, short while, because, and if you want to put if you're waiting for the actual flip, see how these are coming closer now? That's great. All this has got to do is come up, touch it, and then flip and start to go down.
Yep.
Okay, so that's that Euro CAD. What are we back to? Euro AUD. Still, like on a 15-minute, it's still got momentum up.
The USD JPY looks like it might be turning around a little bit on the 15.
Yeah, I've got it up here now. Yeah, well, the wick is pulled back. That's right. Yeah, we're on the 15. Yeah, so if we look at the 5, have a look down, see it's done that little trace. It's tried to push back up. Now it's dropping down again.
Yep.
Not enough to convince me though that I can get 5 or more pips out of it
Yeah.
above spread. So, and it's like if you see this momentum, and now it hasn't got that put like the guts, the energy in that move is now being dissipated.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more it dissipates, there'll be a drop.
I would almost look for it to do exactly what it's done just previously with the sell. It's going to go down very slowly, and it's going to take a while for it to happen, but there's not going to be a whole lot of pips to be had in it.
No, well, let's have a look and see how many in it.
10?
Like you see, you wouldn't until the SAR flips.
Well, that's right. It'd be halfway in. Yeah.
From there to there. So even if you
Yeah.
got in there, down to there, it's 4 pips.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're absolutely following the rule.
And you might get 2 after the spread, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Well, from there to there, it's 8.1, but
Yeah.
8 pips.
Yeah. But it's a good example of the fact that you've got to wait for that third piece of the puzzle to fall into place, and then when you do, maybe it's not even worth it anymore.
Mhm. Yeah.
Then again, too, Anne and Robert, it also too is the time of the day, or night, or evening, or where is the market at whatever point in time. We're now just coming up to the, like from an Australian perspective. So we've got the Aussie in the Japanese have opened up or just opened up, but it's from that sort of perspective, our region, it's really around the middle of our day.
Mm-hmm. Who's that girl that invented this? What's her name?
Sorry?
What's that girl that invented this? What was her name?
Tasha.
Yeah, I was on with her this morning a little bit, and it was pretty active. The market was like 9
Were you
this
on the
morning.
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got on like 9:30. It was pretty active.
That's your time, yeah. Yeah, in the morning.
Today was my day off, so I could play with this all day.
Well, you can allocate the time to learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. Yeah.
Yeah, that.
He's on demo. He can play.
Yeah, absolutely. The reason why I'm saying that, Robert, is just really simple. Is play, unless for me that there needs to be sort of something that you get out of that play, the learning that comes from it that you can use ongoing. So, but
Go ahead.
I hear what you say, and I agree with you. It's just that sort of the wording with it. I don't, that's all. Oh, what do we got?
Everything's play for me. I like to have fun no matter what I'm doing. It don't matter.
There you go.
Correct.
Now, Robert, did you know that she's also got a 5 a.m.?
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, I wasn't on that one, but then Paul's on at 4 a.m. It's like, geez.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm not getting up that early.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one.
So just come back. I thought this was a new call. It's not. That's GBP CAD still there. This is for a sell. It's really interesting though. Stochastics is down here. It's like, there's not going to be
what?
Yeah, the sell's already done. We're now getting these doji like pancake candles with wicks on both sides, and I go, well, not unless this absolutely just snakes and keeps going down. Are we going to have continued?
Which it could.
Well, it could, absolutely. And that's what I'm just saying. I'm not sure at this point. But for me, though, can you see British pounds becoming stronger and the Canadian, like they're becoming closer together here?
Yep.
Unless this British pound turns and goes down, and then the Canadian, the red line starts going up harder, I think we're still going to have we're still going to sell on it. Oh, look at that. Next
Oh, we got
candle.
you,
Oh,
Jake,
yeah.
for a buy.
Came up. Okay. Okay, let's go back to that.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the harmonic scanner says sell.
Yeah.
So we're totally at odds.
No, we're not, because it might go up a bit before it goes down.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
And you know, these are crossed over, reds above there. We're still, oh yeah, this was on the 15-minute. That's right.
Yeah.
And then what you've got is, look at that. US is up, but also too the Japanese yen is trying to follow it. There's going to be a break at some point here.
Yeah.
There has to be for it. And if the Japanese yen is up that high, US dollar will have to sort of drop.
No, we just had a new candle, so now I've got to wait.
Yeah, well, we might not. We might just go down the 5-minute.
Yeah, and see what's happening.
See, it's still pushing up and crossing there. Nothing there yet.
No.
Let's go back and look at some of the others. GBP CAD, that was for sell. Well, it did go down, but it's still, look at the wicks on the bottom. I mean, that's got a flat top, but
No, there's actually a teeny wick on it.
Yeah.
yeah, at the top, yeah. Okay, that's GBP CAD. What do we got then? Euro CAD, still flat as. But look at this.
Still
See?
snaking along. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Euro CAD.
GCAD?
Euro AUD.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
See these starting to come back together? And we've got, tried to push up a bit and it's come back. We've got a lot of wick at the top,
Yeah.
but it's still pushed up.
But it's still going to be a while before it's changing to do anything different.
Correct. That's okay. That's something we can watch. British pound, Aussie dollar. Now that got picked as a buy, and you can see how the red went above the blue there, and we got this little downtrend, and then the blues come back to sort of be equal or slightly above the red here.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get that as a buy still for a little while. Oh. Oh. No. What am I doing?
Can you scroll?
Because I'm on a.
You're on the laptop?
Yeah.
How did I know?
No, can't do it. Whoop. Oh, no.
No. What are you trying to see?
I was just trying to go back down and see where it was in the cycle. Australian dollar. I think it was a buy. I'm pretty sure it got called for a buy, but we
PA's right there peeking at the very bottom, so it's a buy. Yeah.
Yeah, but we had that little movement already.
Yeah.
Look at these sitting at the top. It's going to just stay for the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is just sort of hanging in there, not really doing anything.
Well, it's in actual fact though, Anne, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. The fact of where we're at this point in time, they're set up, ready for moves.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. At any point, this stochastic could drop, and we go into a nice sell, and then the SARS will flip around here somewhere, and then it's it's on for young and old. It's plenty of trade going. we're 10 minutes off midday or 12 o'clock here on a Wednesday. So,
Wow.
yes, right, that's right. It's midday, 10 minutes off midday on a Wednesday.
Crazy.
You've got to find out what Wednesday's like yet. I can tell you, it's nice and sunny here. It's not a problem. So, it's just different place in the world.
It's time to bed here.
And what is it, Carlos?
It's time to bed. It's 3 a.m.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 3 o'clock for you. Yeah. So, but are you working or are you still off, Carlos?
No, I'm off.
Oh,
I'm always off Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Ah, good. Oh, that works out for this then. Okay. Because this will be... Yeah.
Yeah, you've been watching... This is a little part of what we're doing. You've been watching what Eric Garrison's been doing lately with his strategy.
You mean with baskets?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching that too. It's there's so many different. So we're talking comparative strengths and talking correlation between currency pairs. Yeah, I've been watching. Yeah. There's some interesting stuff going on.
Oh, there's very interesting stuff, honestly. I've been doing like demo. It's like been amazing, honestly.
Yeah. So what correlation tool are you using, Carlos?
Actually, I use the. Let me see which one is it. The website is the MATAF. MATAF.
Oh yeah. Well, I use MyFX Book. It's got a correlation tool in there and it works quite well too. So yeah, interesting. It's like these ones here though. What we're looking at using the web analyzer, like they're all just getting set up right now, and so
yeah, actual GA was called on London payout for a sell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Anne, you said that before, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know, probably.
What was Kevin called it, didn't he?
EA and GA.
Oh, EA and GA. Yeah, well, we've got GA here.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure we have EA there as well.
Yep, we do.
So what I'd be doing at this is if you're going to bed, I'd be putting on a if you're looking at this strategy as such, and you go, well, okay, this we haven't got SAR flip. I might not be awake to be able to see a SAR flip and look at all this. I'd be putting on a sell stop. So I'd get a trade where I'd put in a sell stop, which is a point below where it is now, so that when it turns and comes back through it, it'll actually activate the trade.
Mm-hmm.
And you can set up a trailing stop for it or anything you want from that sort of point of view. Is that a little bit, does that work for you, Robert?
For me?
Yeah.
I haven't studied that stuff yet.
Okay, no worries. That's not a problem. So are you using MT4?
As far as I know, I don't even know what I'm using.
MetaTrader 4.
For my trading?
Correct.
Yeah, when you're placing a trade.
Forex.com, that's all I know.
You're just doing it online from an online. Okay, yeah. It's probably an MT4 web-based version. Yeah. So in there, when you go to place a trade, you can actually choose to do a stop trade, and you can put either a buy stop or a sell stop. A sell stop is when the price comes down and hits it and goes through and it activates the trade. Or a buy stop, it comes up and it goes through and then goes into the buy.
This says associated stop or associated limit. Is that anything to do with that?
A limit is a limit trade is where, say it's a buy limit. It'll come up, touch it, and then or go through whatever and come back down again, and that will activate the trade. One is it goes through and in the same direction, which is a buy stop or a sell stop, and a limit is where it actually comes up to and then back again. It has to actually go to it and activate it and then turn.
It boomerangs off a certain point.
Very good. That boomerang. Yeah, that's probably a good. The thing though is with a limit, sometimes it will go through and continue on. So you'll be in drawdown in relation to it before it turns to come back.
Yeah, still playing with all this stuff.
Yeah, well, and so what I suppose what I'm saying is, in this is as from this sort of point of view, is that if we see a trade here and we look, I can say to you now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to, in relation to EA and GA, I can see them going to have momentum to go down. It just, they're setting themselves up to do that. Whether it's like, for example, if we look at support resistance, even if we have down here like 26 pips, there's a possibility there. Or if we look at, click that, whoops. And then we look at EA, again, there's this at least an opportunity for a drop of, again, another 20 to 30 pips. So, if you had if you go to sleep and this continues on and it's not going to activate the trade, it doesn't matter. You can take the trade off in the morning. But if you're asleep and it goes up and then starts going down and it has a momentum down a fair bit, you sort of want to get into the trade. And if you're asleep, it's a bit hard to do that. That's where a stop it's actually the word stop always confused me at the start. It's because you think when the price goes to it, it'll stop the trade. It's actually not. It's actually a buy activation or a sell activation is really the right wording for it. But the silly buggers that came before us called it a stop for some reason. And so until I realized it was a buy activation or a sell activation, then it sort of made a lot more sense to me.
It is very confusing. You're very right.
So you can put that activation of the trade at a certain point.
You can use you can use the bounce back either to try to get in on the SAR.
Yeah, correct.
That's another thing.
Correct. I mean, that's a bit more advanced. You're absolutely right, Carl. So there is a bounce back trade manager that in actual fact, it'll follow the trade, and when it turns with a certain distance, it will automatically get you into the trade. That's another tool. So there's lots of things at our disposal that you've got to get to that stage of working out, to be able to use it. Now, this trade, we're 1 minute off 12. I think, I have a sense that pretty soon, and I'm meaning within the next hour, we're going to start to see some movement absolutely on this without a doubt, because this is normally what happens in my time zone and my time frame.
I think the only problem is sometimes when they are teaching, especially on the BO group, it's like they're teaching like the Akinashin candles, and they are counting the pips on the end of the candle, and it's never on the end of the candle, because it's like where is the body ends, and sometimes they are it's 30 pips. No, it's already gone.
Or you miss the first candle completely.
Exactly.
Because they're using Heikin-Ashi candles, and I agree, Carlos. It's a very different way of looking at it. Yet I can say to you now, when you're used to it, and when you are at a point in time, we just got
frozen.
Amy.
There, you're back.
Oh, sorry, frozen. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, you froze for a sec there.
Yeah. So, when you get used to these Heikin-Ashi, it actually makes it very easy to organize these trades. What do we got? Oh my gosh, there's a whole heap just came in, is it?
Oh, we just, yeah, new candle.
We got GBP AUD came in for buy again.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, see, pushed up. See, even if it said buy and it's still going in that buy direction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're still up the top here. Now we've got NZD USD. Let me just open up another one.
Twice.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It must be important if that's what they're doing. No, it's just the computer's splitting it out for some reason. Whoop, I'll just pull it across because we. Okay. It says for a buy.
Yeah, that confused me too. It always says one thing and does another.
Well,
Well, you have to remember that the vibrata, which is what its new name is it's looking into the future. It's predicting, or it's giving you its prediction of what it believes is going to take place. So,
correct.
although it's coming up now, it's giving you a heads up, to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, just think of it. This uptrend, this may be just a retracement. That doesn't mean that stochastic is just going to plummet to the bottom. It may turn here and come back again.
Yep.
There's also too, when you see this, the New Zealand dollar's down low. I mean, that looks like a continuation of sell.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got the Aussie dollar, the US dollar is still much stronger than the New Zealand, so that may continue in that. And these are separated quite a bit. I mean, it's not lots, but they're separated, these two lines, which means there's more volume in that to go down. So
that
we
would be
have this.
That would be a sell.
I understand. I understand that, and you understand it perfectly as well. That's not what we're seeing on the left here.
No.
And at the moment, you've got
But
the SARS are above it as well. So
and we have a flat top. We have the stochastic going the right way with a good separation.
Yeah.
The vortex does the same thing.
Yeah. And it's on the hourly. Let's go look at the 15-minute though. Yeah. It's getting. See,
that's where I'm saying, okay, now we're talking buy.
Yeah, correct. So here we go. See how that's coming up? We're getting that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important to look at the up and down the time frames. Yeah. It didn't pick it on that, but it picked it on the 1 hour. So, yeah, now this is, and can you see how that sort of down? See how it now is really flat across there?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just losing momentum now. And this also too down the bottom here. So these three things together are saying, look, we're getting a direction change possibly. Yeah. But this may take 1 or 2 candles before it'll start to do it. Let's have a look at 5 minutes and see if it's already started it. Yep. It's already started the lift.
I think that's why I called the buy.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm not saying it's going to be, because for me, I would go, look at those candles there with big wicks on both ends. It's not really decided yet.
Brian, there was a London payout call.
And?
I don't know, I haven't looked at it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
But if you can click on your LP, do you have a London payout?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. I'll hang on. I'll look at it then.
Do you want to share screen?
Yep, sure.
Okay, I'll just stop. Yeah, you can grab that.
Let me just log in.
I don't have the London payout, so I can't.
Let's see what it says.
Yeah, it's almost hitting stop loss, the one that you call.
Whoa.
Sell on geode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there,
so
yeah.
it's on
That's it.
drawdown 22.
He's called it. Kevin always does it on a 30. He's calling it a high risk trade, so use a half lot.
Yeah. Half your lot. Okay, yeah.
So that's
So
that's what we've been waiting for anyways, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Is this from the London payout? Is when he called, that's the time to get into the trade, is it?
correct.
Great. Okay.
I mean,
So-
it's. I always like to do a little bit of my own analysis on it because that's just what I like to do. Because it isn't always 100% ready at that moment, but it is his intention, and he's fairly accurate, I have to say. Kevin Serrano does a really good job. And so you can really take it. It's not that often he goes wrong.
Yeah. He's not saying also how many pips are in it or anything. Oh no, he did. He had to take
He
profit
gives you
on it, didn't he?
TPs, he gives you stop loss, he does all of it.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
actually got
normally
3
always-
TPs on this one.
Yeah, you normally always got wrong when I'm on E. So
Yeah, he's he's pretty good guy. But yeah, he gives you
So-
3 take profits and everything for it.
You
So.
can see how long the stochastic sort of drag there. I'm not saying that this will do it, but you see these little dips, a little dip and up.
Yeah.
Like that's going up at the moment.
Now he's calling it on the 30, Brian. So let's maybe have a look there just out of
okay,
curiosity.
sorry. Yeah,
It's
sure.
okay. He always calls on the 30. That's his favorite time frame.
Yeah. See here,
So now look at what we got here.
coming up to the top there.
Yeah.
And these also
So-
two are separating.
Carlos and Carl, do you want me to read out the take profits and the stop loss for this?
I have it. I'm in drawdown. So
You have it, Carlos? Okay,
Ah,
Robert?
Carlos is in drawdown. He's already in the trade.
What is
Oh.
that's why I said when he's only got the wrong when I get in. So
Yeah, but the thing is, Carlos, I wouldn't have got into the trade because I still can't see.
I would wait, yeah.
I
Yeah,
only see that now. So yeah. works.
yeah. Carlos,
Live and
you gotta
learn, live and
look at
learn.
it. You gotta look at it before you get in.
It actually is good normally, but yeah, what we can do, nothing.
Yeah, that's right. So that's from that. It was on the 15-minute though that it was called. So it's
Yeah,
still
the
pushed
analyzer
to
called
the
it on the
other.
15 for a buy, and he's
GA.
calling a sell on
Yeah.
the 30.
Yeah, and these are both of these, GA and GA and EA are both sort of sitting up high on the stochastics. They might have a little bit left in their buy sort of energy. But like this is on a 15, there's only 5 minutes of this candle left. And see the wicks on the top. They've tried to push up, but they just keep getting pushed back down again.
Yeah.
This will come out with momentum and go down. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
You want to look at one for me?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Which one?
USD CHF.
Oh,
Ooh,
Mhm.
I don't use that.
playing with the devil.
On the 15.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
that's not it. Oh, there.
I'll just get it up. Hang on a second.
If we get a SAR on top, it might be a good sell.
USD Swiss franc. Yeah, it could be. It just depends on where it is at the moment. Well, on the 15, did you say?
15,
Yeah. Yeah, ready for a bit of a sell? Absolutely.
Almost.
Let's go for the Rotex. See if we can get a confirmation up on that.
The red's going up on the vortex.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but the US is not pointing down, but you know,
Kind of leveled out there.
yeah, let's have a look and see if we were to get
You
in
still
the
have to wait for the
trade
next candle anyways,
now.
because you don't have the SARS in the right spot.
Yeah, there may be, yeah, it might only be 5 pips out of it. If you see, it depends. Even when you wait for the SAR, the candle's got to push down to touch the SAR to flip it to the other side or to the top, should I say, for a down, for a sell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that a mini pipet when they got 5 after the decimal point? The numbers all the way to the right? Is that a
Yeah,
mini
all the
pipet?
way to, well, it's what they call a point or a tick.
Isn't there
it's
supposed to be like 4 or
no
whatever?
10th. It's 10. So it's 1/10.
Don't interrupt, guys. GBP/AUD check.
Oh, okay.
Did you see his note, Carlos?
Yeah.
It hasn't. Oh, on the 30. It hasn't turned yet. So what was his note?
But he just acknowledged that it was down 9 pips and he was going to reanalyze it.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that USD CHF, Robert, that one there. I would, yeah. So I have a sense there's only sort of 5 pips in there. I don't know whether it's necessarily worth it yet. We will see. If we had got in back here though, I mean that's a good, 9-10 pips there.
Is that a
Next
volatile
candle
one or
told
something?
him.
Yeah, USD CHF can be pretty volatile, and also it can go in a trend for days or weeks at a time.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you look back out at it if you can look at it on the daily, for example, I mean, it does this and this for a considerable amount of time. So that's like the middle of August to now, it's really just gone in an uptrend. Yeah. And the start of August to the middle was in a downtrend. So for 2-3 weeks, it was just in one direction.
So could you actually do a trade for like 3 weeks in a row? Just let it run for 3 weeks?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of people.
That's an ultimate swing trade.
Yeah, ultimate. That's right. That's
another class.
No, it's fine. Bounce back trades. I don't know if you've heard the term bounce back, but bounce back trades are really, longer term trades.
Swing
I've
trade.
heard it. I've heard the name, but I don't know what it is yet.
Now, the issue here is this USD Swiss on the 5-minute looks like it's going to turn because we've got a change over here and stochastic is starting to point up. So it's struggling to push back down. See the candle? So if we go up to the 15-minute there, still it's, there's a bit more drop from that point of view. But if you go down to 5 minutes, it's going, well, there's not a lot left in it.
Well, Brian, do you think maybe we should be wrapping it up?
Yeah, Ken. We have the setup here for a number of trades, right?
Yeah, we do.
This NZD USD, it called on the hourly. It was, that's right. Go back to the hourly, and you look at the hourly and you go, no, that's gonna sell. But when we come back to 15-minute, you can see that's going to go into a buy for a certain period, and we'll probably get. Let's have a look. Let's come back here. We go, look, this USD Japanese. Whoa, hang on. Did I freeze?
No.
No, that's all right. Good. It just came a message on my screen. USD JPY, this is certainly looking at the 15-minute looking like a sell. If we go down, that also, there's momentum there, but it's starting to drop off now. What do we got here? This is the only one this was I think this was a sell.
GCAD could have been, yeah.
I don't remember. This was
Hang on, I'll see if I can find it.
wow. That USD CHF just came in there for a buy.
Yeah.
See a whole lot just came in.
That's what we just looked at, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the one that you'd said.
Yeah.
GCAD was a sell.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's gone into a buy.
Yeah.
Which I thought it would anyway. These are getting ready like this. EuroCAD. Look, this cannot stay up there for that long. It's going to drop off the edge here.
Yeah.
The same thing with Euro AUD and GBP AUD. They're both going to sort of drop off the edge.
Yeah.
When you see them ride along like that, you think they're going to drop sooner or whatever.
Well, you don't know. You see, this is on. Yeah, this can sit here for ages, which means that buy will continue until it actually turns and comes back down. You're not going to have the change in direction. But again, there's not a lot of movement up. When this moves, this is going to drop substantially. So there's GA, there's EA. Both of these, when we're finished, I'm going to be putting on both of those, I'm going to put a sell stop on them, so that when they activate, I'll get some pips out on the way down. And if they keep going up, well, it just won't activate, and that'll be okay. EuroCAD, also see how long that's been there. And this has got no guts in it at all, which is saying, this has got to go in the opposite direction. GBP CAD I'd keep away from unless you were actually in a buy. And USD JPY, that's up the top here, getting ready to go down. NZD USD, again, this is down here now. How long this stays down here will continue that sell, but because you've got that flat bottom there, I certainly wouldn't get into sell at the moment. If it was back here and I wanted to get into a sell, yeah, absolutely. Right?
It's too late to sell now.
It's finished its run. Now it's getting ready to go into a buy direction. And then this is Robert, what you're sort of talking about with USD CHF. Yeah. It's saying a buy, right? But the issue that we have here, and that's on a 15, and I've got on a 15, but the point is it's going to do a sell first. Yeah. It's got to because of this. Now see that USD now is pointing down there, Robert? See that? That's confirming this further. So now this is a sell trade. But as I said, there's probably only 5 pips in it. It might be more. It might be more. But at this point, I would only commit to 5. That's me.
Candle's not very big, and it's getting closer to the stars at this point,
Correct.
so there's not much left in it. No.
Correct. Yeah. Anyway, do you have any questions? So I just wanted to sort of, we can't stay on forever, so.
Every little bit helps.
It does.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good.
Yeah. Carlos, how are you? You still in a bit of drawdown though?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah,
like 5
right.
pips from stop loss.
5 pips from the stop loss.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
Oh, so how many down are you at the moment?
20, I
How many
think.
pips?
Somewhere. 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. From when you got in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I got in a little bit on like 5 pips from what you call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I still think it's not quite ready yet. It's still, you haven't got this, the Aussie dollar's still sitting
Yeah.
flat there. It hasn't lifted. And from there, and this is still pointing up. It's still got some buy left in it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, Carlos. So from my point of view, I'm not yet ready to get in. It will be ready very soon, whatever that period of time is. And so for me, again, I would put in, say, using the BB Elite or something like that, or simply, because I don't think there's a lot of energy left in it, I'd be putting a sell stop on both of them, GA and
Probably going to
EA.
be on the Underground Railroad.
Yeah. Well, exactly. All right. Well, thank you very much for your attendance for both of you. Anne and I do this sort of power
That's
hour twice a week. Yeah, and so we're doing it a bit later. It's sort of like there are more trades. There's actually more that we're seeing, Anne. It's just
There absolutely is. So maybe on Thursday we'll have a little bit more activity still, and something we can actually say, yes, let's do this.
Yeah, that's all right. And again,
Okay, we're also still learning and still coaching. Everybody's sort of progressing, so that's good.
We only want to take great trades, and so
Absolutely.
It's not quite ready for a great trade, couple of these. So if anybody's interested and they're watching this and say like, well, that's really interesting, I'd like to do some of this, get back to Anne or myself or whoever sort of introduced you to this video. So it'd be, or this live trading session anyway. So thank you, Anne. Thanks for your help
Thank you,
in
Brian.
all of this. No worries at all. All right, I'm just going to, we'll stop sharing there for the moment.
Thank you guys.
Pleasure. We'll stop.